Hey, now we're back. Before we start this, we're at Ken Griffey Jr. And if you could hit the like button, I usually don't ask that, but I'm just going to ask. So it's Saturday, September 30th. It's like 7:10 at night. And we're at Ken Griffey Jr., I think the second, the kid, Gary Carter being the kid. There's also Ted Williams, the kid. I'm sure there's other kids. I don't know why that nickname is so popular, the kid, but the kid, Ken Griffey Jr. This man from 1990 to 2000 was, I would say, the best player in baseball. For a solid decade, the best player in baseball. So much so in 1999 when they did the All Century team, they had like 100 players, but then they narrowed it down to like two per position, and Ken Griffey Jr. was picked. And the thought was Ken Griffey Jr. would represent someone that is on the current all century team from the 1900s through 2000. And then he would also be on the next all century team from like 2000 to 2100. Like if they wanted, that was the goal, I think, to build that bridge to have a player. But unfortunately, 2000, for those of you that were alive and around at that time, he signed this massive trade contract, whatever, with Cincinnati. He wanted to play where his father played. He changed to his father's number. Granted, he played with his father in Seattle, not in Cincinnati. And I don't want to call him a bust, but he did not live up to the expectations. The injury bug really took a toll on him. He kind of bounced back around 2005. Ended his career. I remember finding out when he got into Cooperstown in 2016, he got in by the highest margin ever. He beat Tom Seaver's record for like the closest to 100% ever. Obviously, Mariano broken it since, but he had the record at that time. So we're gonna get to his autograph analysis in a little bit here. I did get Ken Griffey Jr. way back when in person at Tiger Stadium. It had to be like 1990, 1991. The camera crews were all there, and I doubt many of you have been autographed at Tiger Stadium, but you used to get really close, like right on that dugout you could get. And I remember it was very small, very compact. And Ken Griffey Jr. went all the way around the dugout. He autographed something for me, just like a piece of paper. I remember I got it signed and then I gave it to somebody else as a gift. What was I thinking? I don't know. But he was a big Ken Griffey Jr. fan also. So I gave it to him. Long story short, he was kind of not a good, like, he just did not like signing. He doesn't like crowds. I've talked to people about him today. If you can get to him, he's a pretty good signer, but he's kind of a recluse. He doesn't like going on in many public situations. Believe me, I talked to Jeff, and Jeff's thrown everything at him to trying to come to a national, do an in-person signing, but he's just not interested. He does private signings. He's a TriStar exclusive with Mill Creek Sports out in Washington State as well. So, I mean, he does a private signing every couple of years. He charges a couple $100, which I think is fair for a player of his magnitude. I mean, this is a guy, we're talking to players that made so much money that there's no monetary reason for them to sign another baseball. I mean, they do it like Hims and the Jeters and so on and so forth, the Puloses, the Cabreras. But I mean, he doesn't sign for the money because he needs the money. He does it, I don't know, just to put stuff out in the marketplace to meet the demands. But again, I would not be holding my breath for an in-person signing. So if you're sitting on a 600 home run piece, 500 home run piece, and TriStar or Mill Creek does a send in. Again, he's only getting 53. He's not that old of a person, but you never know these days. So don't wait for a private signing for him. And one last thing we're going to get into, and I don't have a picture up, but if you search around the internet, there are a lot of Ken Griffey Sr., who just signs Ken Griffey, and Ken Griffey Jr. sign baseballs right above and below. And that is because, and I remember this very distinctly, and I was looking for Beckett's, but in 1994 during the strike, when the strike happened, Ken Griffey Sr. and Ken Griffey Jr. hit the market hard together. It was a combo package. You bought them both. You couldn't buy one and not the other. You had to buy them both. And they signed these baseballs. And the common thing for them to sign was the sweet spot, Ken Griffey Sr., Ken Griffey Jr. So when you see those, I would say 90% of them originated. Again, they did a ton of shows together around the country. And I would say majority of those balls are from 1994/1995 during the strike period. So that's about it. Again, we're going to talk a little bit more right now. So let's get in the autograph analysis of Ken Griffey Jr. Oh, wrong button. There we go. So, I mean, this, again, we start the PSA DNA. So, this is a Ken Griffey Jr. I think this is an earlier Ken Griffey Jr. signed autograph. He always signs slightly to the right, but like more recently with the signings, his autograph is skewed even more to the right. So, and again, forgers know this, and we'll talk about this in a second, but he's still a relatively young guy. So, we're looking for no hesitations whatsoever. So, when we go on, we're doing this. Wow, for the first time ever, I just had to pause the video for my daughter. Everything's fine. Let's go back to looking. Again, right here, we're talking about Ken Griffey. So again, the forgers know this stuff. So what we're looking for is the G right here should be the highest point of the autograph, usually followed by the top of the K and followed by the J. Now, earlier autographs of his feature the full R in junior. You're not going to see that as much anymore. But what you're looking for, especially with the Griffey, I mean, you'll see this more like O's here, but you want it to be almost like a straight line on the plane. Yes, there's dips at the Y and the K here, but especially with the Griffey, it should be on a nice plane. So again, that's an earlier autograph of his. Okay, here's a much more recent autograph of his, obviously signed after 2016 because it's on a plaque. This is probably a send-in, or maybe it was signed at the, I don't know what. But anyways, this is what we're looking at today at a more modern autograph of his, and it's kind of tough to say. But you can see his autograph went from almost to a slight right to way to the right. It's almost falling over. Reminds me a little bit of Goose Goslin, actually, when you're looking for the right to fall over. Again, the G is still the highest point of the autograph. Like I said, the R is pretty much gone now from it. But again, you can see it's still kind of little level. I mean, I think the shading is kind of blocking it right here. So I want to talk about his first name in a little bit right now. But again, the E he used to sign pretty consistently. He's kind of dropped that off recently in the paid signings and all the signings. Again, this is another, I mean, I get like, I'm going to guess a paid sign. But we're looking for right here, there's two things is, see how the G loops around right here? He doesn't always do that, and we're going to show that in a second. Sometimes the Y goes to the right. Sometimes the Y comes across. But most importantly, again, we're looking for the break right here, as you can see right here. That G by far is the highest point, followed by the K, followed by the J. Again, the R is pretty much gone from his name. Now, when we're looking at the Ken, it's usually a one stroke after the K. It sometimes looks like a U, sometimes it looks like an M. So you just have to watch out for that. This one's kind of tough to see. I'm going to, okay. I mean, this is a full name. This is a variation of a signature. You're not going to find much Kenneth Griffey Jr.'s that much. So again, this is a very early autograph of his. I think this was signed probably close to the rookie year. The K goes very high. You don't see much of the drop down. So this is very unlikely of him. The F is very pronounced. But again, still back then, it was still on a pretty much straight line. So talk about that U. The U is more like an M, which again, we're used to seeing. Again, right here, remember I talked about there's kind of a variation in his signature. And I don't know his signature well enough to say, okay, what period he signed with the G and the Griffey going this way versus the Y coming across. Like modernly, I've seen a lot of them. Again, this is, we talked about, this is kind of a little weird with the N. This is not a typical signature you're going to see today. Again, I think this is a playing day signature, not a more modern signature. So if I'm buying an autograph today, I'm looking for a post-playing day signature, just because the fact that being the most popular player from 1990 to 2000, he was probably one of the most highly forged players from 1990 to 2000. I mean, yes, McGuire was big at the end. But again, here we go. This is like a more modern autograph. You can see the racing. You can see the K. Sometimes the K does loop in with that G. Sometimes it doesn't. But again, the Y comes across. See that U looks like an M right here. And again, it looks like an M. It looks like a U. It depends what kind of mood you're getting at. But the junior, the R is completely gone. But again, still a nice level is what you want to see. You want to see no hesitations whatsoever when signing Ken Griffey Jr. Again, this is probably a playing day autograph. Again, it's kind of rushed. I'm sorry, it's not rushed at all. Is what the F's are very nice, very pronounced. The G is a little higher than the K, followed by the J. But again, that's not always going to be the case. Like I said, again, here's we go. This is probably more of a sit-down signature right here. Again, you see it looks like an M right here. The G is the highest point. The K loops with the G, which is, again, you're seeing more in the modern autograph. And the junior is even becoming the R. He didn't even try here. Looks like he's ended at the J. But again, nice, smooth racing. That's what you want to see out of Ken Griffey Jr. You don't want to see slow hesitations. Again, I think here, Again, these are a little bit more slowly. This is with this is probably it's based on the players here. My guess is definitely a play day. I think this is Omar Scalp right below him. So again, Ken Griffey Jr. right here, dipping the F. I wish they had more post playing. We'll look at those in a second. Again, this is probably a post playing day. Again, this is really nice and sharpie. The F draws down. Again, the Y flares across. Again, that no even trying to make the R. And you see right here, it kind of looks like an M. Again, you may just see with the U right here, no M. But again, that's what you should be looking like. You don't want to make out an N in Ken Griffey Jr. So again, we talked about this right here. I mean, just looking at this, my guess is he stopped doing this flare around probably towards the end of his playing career. Someone wants to put that in the comments. That's fine. Again, this is a playing day career autograph for sure. Just you can tell because the slant's gone. You know what I'm saying? We want to look for a lot of slant right now in Ken Griffey Jr. So, I mean, I could go through these all day. There's a lot in the PSA database you could look at. Again, if you see an R, my guess is like this, or this is probably with just the U and the M. The M is sorted there. My guess is with the K coming in, this is probably a post-playing day signature. Is my guess. Again, now we're back to the beginning. So again, this is my autograph right here. He was for a while an Upper Deck exclusive when they were still doing baseball. And so I think I paid less. I paid $175 for this baseball. Again, this is one of those I started collecting post getting multiple people on one ball. And I just bought a single sign Ken Griffey Jr. ball. And again, this is what you want to see. It's just a U right here. You see it comes up and you see the little U. He doesn't try for the M. The J is gone. Again, this is now post-playing. He loops around right here instead of looping across right here. I mean, you can go on TriStar. You can go on Mill Creek. They have Clark Griffin, that's next. So, I mean, I want to jump real quickly to the outer safe, and only because they're real. Again, Ken Griffey Jr. is one of those you just want to get a feel for. So, like, I'll tell you what, I think, what did they put this one? Safe? I'd be surprised. They put out. Yeah, and I'll tell you why. Again, I agree with him 90% of the time. Number one, that J, you see how it comes down the J? No, I've never seen a J like that. Usually the J should be looping back like this with an R. The fact that J came straight down like that, no, I don't know who they were trying to go for right there. In addition, I don't like the fact that loop came across like this. Usually when he flared it across, he stopped. He didn't loop it all the way down. There are a couple other like bad Ken Griffey Juniors on here because, again, there were so many. I would assume, I don't know. This one probably is a playing day career ball. I don't know if they said that was good or bad. It's kind of weird to me. I'm not a huge fan of it. But again, his playing day career was different. Like I said, didn't have the slant. I'm just curious what they said here. Safe. So, yeah, I mean, it could be safe. I'm not an expert on a playing day Griffey career ball. But you can see right here, this was like, it's a little odd to me because it has so little slant. But if I don't want to get in a fight with outer safe because they do a lot of good work. So again, I want to show we just talked about this one. This Ken Griffey Jr. I already know about. I want to show. They had a couple other bad ones on here, like this right here. Yeah, you can see their little crying face. Again, they tried for the U right here. I don't know what this little K is. This should never go out this much. There's a lot. The K, you see how it's taller than the G right here. Just a lot of red flags right here. I mean, they said it was out. It is out. It's really bad. So. Again, right here, I think that was good. Again, this one is another really bad one right here. I mean, just the authentication alone is pretty bad. But it's tough to see. I would love to zoom in more, but again, the K goes really high. They said it was out. It is out. The G, someone was just trying really hard here. There's a lot of things that are just bad. I mean, based on the time frame and the way they used it. And when you look at Ken Griffey Jr. I mean, the hologram itself was a dead giveaway. But when you look at any autograph, you got to look at, okay, when he was signing with like the flare, he was signing more to the right. With the loop, it was more to the right. If there's an R, it should be more straight up in the juniors. Like, it's just a bunch of, all the pieces really have to fit. And if not, I would pass on a Griffey Jr. autograph. So just moving to eBay real quick, I just picked out a sum right here that I didn't like this one right here. We talked it should be a U or an M, but this is like too many. 1, 2, 3 points right now. I don't care anything else about this autograph. The J is all bad also. It has some COA, but whatever. I think this is no good. Another ones I just saw, like, this is just like, it's all over the place. So it has a $200 best offer gold glove. Now this is passed by JSA. I ran the cert and it is for a Ken Griffey Jr. baseball. And again, it has no flare. Maybe, I mean, it's very rare that a Ken Griffey Jr., you could tell he never took his pen off the ball. Maybe it was signed out at the ballpark. Maybe it is good. So, I mean, if I were buying a Ken Griffey Jr. and I were in the market, I would not buy this ball because, again, just to me, there's too many red flags. I mean, can I say 100% sure it's no good? No, but again, it doesn't have what I'm looking for in a Ken Griffey Jr. autograph. Again, here's another one for $45. It's just someone was trying too hard here. So you can see there's hesitation in that J. Do you see that right here? It doesn't flow. It's like someone came here. Oh, stopped. Oh, time to turn. They were thinking about it. So just write that in there. So again, same thing. Well, this is just bad all over the place. I don't care. Oh, heritage authentication, whatever. The G is barely higher. The J is the highest point in this autograph. Just a bunch of bad. So I mean, we can go all day with the Ken Griffey Jr. I mean, if you're that desperate, wow, we're going 15 minutes. This is like a longer video of Ken Griffey. So, I mean, if you're looking for a Griffey, look for a TriStar first-person authentication or a Mill Creek first-person authentication. I mean, he does quite a few signings. He does like once, at least a signing a year, not necessarily a send-in, but a signing once a year. So his inventory is constantly being refreshed. So that's about it with Ken Griffey Jr. So we're going to move from Ken Griffey Jr. to the very exciting. You thought Ken Griffey Jr. was exciting. Very exciting Clark Griffith. But until then, as always, keep collecting.